In film, The Great Gatsby is almost as great as a superhero at the box office. Leonardo DiCaprio's big 3D extravaganza was a surprisingly strong runner-up to comic book blockbuster Iron Man 3 in its opening weekend.
But I had the uneasy feeling that he was guarding secrets.
Great Gatsby had an impressive $51.1 million debut, just behind Iron Man 3 and well ahead of industry expectations from the latest film version of F. Scott Fitzgerald's classic novel about the Roaring '20s. Also in theaters this weekend, the documentary Room 237 about an obsessive fans and hidden meanings of Stanley Kubrick's iconic The Shining.
It would be methodical. It would be unemotional.
I was angry. I wrote things down. Stupid, not dangerous.
And at a time of school massacres and internet bullying, the independent Canadian film Blackbird takes a different view. It looks at a public paranoia through the eyes of a troubled teenager who is falsely accused of planning a mass shooting. Jason Gorber is a film critic for twitchfilm.com. He joins us in Toronto. Jason, good to see you.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Good.
I would be totally remiss if I didn't wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. I'll get killed if I don't say something.
Absolutely. Mother's Day, a good day to go to the movies as well. Great Gatsby debuting. What'd you think?
Yeah, it's great to see like a mom who basically leaves her kid and her jock husband to fall for the guy that's built her a house, who then has an altercation with a car and then something involving a swimming pool. Anyway, Great Gatsby. So I swear I am the only one in this entire country that didn't read this book in high school, or at least I've blocked it out. It is a fine film that people really don't like because it's not like the book, and I'm the one who doesn't even remember reading the book. I think the story is kind of terrible, and I'll get pilloried for saying that, but in terms of execution, it's still kind of a decent film. So it's not a great Gatsby, it's an okay Gatsby, and because of that, it's really upsetting some people. I'm not so disappointed that it made as much money as it actually did.
Let's take a look at that execution.
Great.
Is all this made entirely from your own imagination?
No. See, you were there all along. And every idea, every decision. Of course, if anything is not to your liking, I'll change it.
It's perfect. From your perfect, irresistible imagination.
Okay, so in your estimation, a mediocre Gatsby, better than the 74 version or not?
Yeah, I unfortunately I haven't seen the 74 version. My understanding is that it's better. What it does is it definitely takes the internal monologue that made the book so celebrated and actually presents it in a visual way. Baz Luhrmann is an incredibly visual, very bombastic filmmaker and who has a shtick. And for me, it works totally in Moulin Rouge, in which some people find interminable and I love, in Romeo and Juliet, even in Strictly Ballroom. Those are very like musicals. They have a musical, a sort of an alternate reality to them. With Gatsby, particularly for the first hour, you're like, oh my God, it's a Baz Luhrmann film. Look at him, he's doing his thing again. But once the film settles down and sort of is a more straightforward yet still epic film, it actually really worked for me. The actors are incredibly pretty. As I said, the story for me is the slightest part of it. I get it. It's a really heavy-handed metaphor. 90 years ago, or whatever the book came out, it was a much bigger, more rich story. For me, it's not so much. So should you see it? Sure. Why not? It's a big extravaganza, 3D, Baz Luhrmann, blah, blah, blah. Go see it in theaters.
A lot of people seeing a video going around of the Robert Redford Great Gatsby recut,
Right.
the style of 2013 trailer. Let's take a look at that. I want to get your impressions on it.
Great.
I'm going to tell you something about my life. I don't want you to get the wrong impression from the stories you hear. I'm the son of wealthy people from the Midwest. All dead now. I traveled and lived in many capitals in Europe trying to forget something sad that happened long ago. And then came the war. Every Allied government gave me a decoration.
Major J. Gatsby for valor extraordinary. Why are you telling me this?
A nice little taste of what that film was about, I guess.
Nice work, old boy. And you didn't even have any Jay-Z, or at least you probably had Jay-Z, but it was some remix, I don't know. Anyway, as I said, purists are already really disappointed in the Luhrman version, but again, having no emotional connection really with it whatsoever, just taking it as a straight-ahead film, I thought it was okay, and because of that, I sort of recommend people going to see it and make up their own minds.
Room 237, your impressions of that? The Shining was frightening.
I love The Shining. I'm a huge, huge Kubrick fan. What the film is about crazy people. It's about crazy people that watch The Shining over and over and over and over again and find the tiniest little bits that they can tease out and say, oh, when you actually are looking at the background, the picture here is different than the picture here, or that it doesn't work out. It's fundamentally about the art of film criticism taken to its most insane extreme. As a film, if you're a fan of The Shining, it will make you see The Shining in a new way, but it'll also make you see those crazy late-night arguments about The Shining in a whole new way. It's a lot of fun, and I really recommend it to somebody. Do not see it before you've seen The Shining. Definitely see the Kubrick version in theaters if you can. There's a bunch of screens across the country that are showing the Kubrick original. Go see that, and then for fun, see Room 237 to see what a whole bunch of internet crazies talk about the movie. It's fabulous.
And finally, Blackbird, good Canadian film.
Yeah, another film. So both Room 237 and Blackbird I saw last September at TIFF, and Blackbird's really about paranoia. You have a kid who says something, again, stupid on the internet. It gets totally taken out of context that he's actually planning a Columbine-style attack. Because of that, he gets caught up in the legal system. It's a first-time feature director from Canada, shot in Northern Ontario. I really liked it. I liked the mood that it set. It's not a big, epic, bombastic thing like we're talking about with Baz Luhrmann. It's a slightly smaller film, but because of that, it really gets into its rich character. It's not a complete home run, but it's definitely a film well worth checking out. And honestly, these are the kind of films that people should support. These are our future filmmakers in this country. Go out and see it. What's the worst that can happen? You gave a little bit of money to a nascent filmmaker, and then we'll see what comes with our next project.
All right, I'm going to remind everyone that they can follow you on Twitter at @filmfest_ca. Jason, thank you very much. We'll see you next weekend.
Thanks, Scott. See you next week.